No, I love your interviews, man. I been taking these last couple of weeks to just catch up on your style and what you do. I really dig it. It's a very like nomadic approach, and
Yeah, it's all over the place.
no, but it's human. It's human. It's
Yeah,
human,
I
and I
I
feel like
appreciate that, man.
that's missing a lot in today's
Right? Like,
yeah.
so many of the podcasts are, like, very sterile, and I mean, granted, like, hey, man, they're doing their thing, it's like but shit, man, like, if I got any of these famous people on, I'd be asking them some crazy shit, like,
Yeah, yeah,
like, I'd go straight for the meat and potatoes, and, like
yeah.
like, I mean, serious, like, if you've got the chance, like, Mike's on me, like, I'm asking the
Some of the questions are just very, like how did you feel when you got cast to play Superman? It's like, of course I was elated. I'm paid for the
I'd
next
be like,
3 months.
"That shit was lit, man," like,
Yeah,
"That was amazing."
man.
You know? I mean, did anyone not believe you were Superman and you had to sit there and go, "No, I really am. That's some crazy Did you call up any of your high school bullies and say, "You know what? Screw you. I'm Superman now." So, well, I hope I'm gonna keep this in the interview so some of you guys can watch it.
Yeah,
People can see that this
absolutely,
is
brother.
organic and real.
I'm an open book,
But
brother. You're good.
me too, man. Welcome, everybody, back to Full Battery Media Podcast. I've got an awesome guest with me today. Would you like to tell people who you are and a little bit about what you do?
How's it going, everybody? My name is Chad A. Marshall. I'm the founder, creative director of Threat Culture Media. Uh, we are here to service creatives and try to allow creatives to not worry so much about the technical aspects of things, whether that be the equipment, which is like I'm sure we'll get into that, but the equipment and also just the fear of responsibility with regards to managing the equipment. All of the gear is insured, and that's not a flag to be reckless with it or anything. But everyone has their different skill sets, and sometimes a creative just needs to be in a space to create. And when you throw
Right.
the technical aspects of production at them, it can just really throw a rock in their creative process. And so we just try to
Hey,
eliminate that, man. We just, hey, we have our gear, what do you need and how can we help you, bring your ideas to life?
I love that. I have some clients that I'm doing some videos for, and bless their hearts, they are doing the best they can. But, they send me the content they film, and I'm like, "Dear God, what did you
Yeah.
shoot this on?"
Yeah.
And you're like and she's like one of the clients is like, bless her heart, she's a financial advisor, right?
Mm.
So she sent a stuff and she's like, "I got a webcam and I hook it up to Zoom." And I was like,
Huh.
"Okay. Okay.
Huh.
I'm first of all, I'm not gonna throw any hate at you because you're making stuff." And like,
Sure.
way to go. Way to go. But, I was like, but at the same time, let's talk about how we can make this easier for you. Cause I like what you say there. Like, people have a story to tell. And I
Yeah.
think great creative teams can allow people to tell their story in a easier way, or
Sure.
at least a more clear way.
Sure. 100%. And you know, in our space, it's very interesting because, like, for example, we've had law firms and we've had a lot of real estate clientele over these last few years. And these guys have crazy budgets, no creative input or output, I
Mhm.
should say. And like, what is their gold standard doesn't work in the film and television space. And then on the reverse of that, you have creatives in the film and television who have these phenomenal ideas. They understand lighting to a degree, and they understand shot composition and things like that. They have no idea how to find or generate revenue. And it's a
Right?
very interesting, you go to a multi-million dollar firm's website and they just have the most, I don't know, unappealing eyesore for a website, but they're making profit every month. you'll go to a creative's website, beautiful website, the reels are up, the photography, boom, 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 and they're like sharing a 2-bedroom with like 3 of their friends. So it's blend the worlds, man. Trying to blend the worlds and allow
Right.
everyone to just exist in their speciality, man. Like be you.
Right. I love that. But at the same time, it's like, I think, is there an optimal way to help someone be you? That's one of the things I keep
Mm,
coming back to when working with clients, because it's like one of the things I was thinking about is like a lot of creatives have ideas, right?
sure.
Like, think about it. Like, I have great ideas all the time. Like, yeah, I'm gonna open this restaurant, or I want to do this idea or something else. But there's a difference between having a great idea and then doing it. I had this movie idea for a couple years about
Mm,
this. It was like, because I live in Vietnam, I had this Vietnam War movie, and I was like, dude, and I was like, about this story, about these people come back to Vietnam, and there's all this thing. And then I was just like, but you know what? I never ran with it. I never did anything with it. And then a couple years later, the Five Bloods came out, and I was like,
that's my
it
movie.
wasn't like, yep, and it was such a good movie. Like, and the crazy part is like
Yeah.
the ideas that I had were circling, but like you can have ideas for day, but you know what?
Jeez, man.
Spike Lee makes movies, and
Right.
like,
Right.
and so and so this is my point. Like, my question: when someone comes to you with a project,
Uh-huh.
what is really like usually the thing that's holding them back?
The main thing that holds a lot of these individuals back is belief in themselves.
Mm,
You can have an idea and you can have people excited about your idea.
yeah.
But if the help shows up and they're more excited about your idea than you seem to be in your idea,
Mm,
you're gonna side rail that momentum immediately. You can have your doubts and you can have your concerns, but it would be in your best interest to not allow that to spill over into the individuals who are open to helping you. Because the moment you start sounding unsure about what you're trying to do, and you're literally looking at all the tools being laid before you to do it,
yeah.
the team is going to start questioning if you really know what you're doing. So I
Yeah.
would say most importantly is have that confidence, even if you just have to like wear a mask on it, and just have a clear vision written down or storyboarded out. It doesn't have to. Again, the money is something that is always negotiable. The money is something that can always be, like that's its own monster. You can figure out how to generate funds for the thing, but you got to have
Yeah.
a clear vision of what the thing is.
Right.
And if you know what you want to
If
shoot and you know where you want to shoot it and you have an idea of the actors or like what the time scale is, I think I could do this in a month. I think we can do this in 14 days. You have your checks and balances, you've crossed your T's and dotted your I's. Outside of the financing, it's a smooth sail.
one of the things too that I see a lot of is people do get hung up on gear, get hung up on pricing, on all this stuff. We had this project that I did for my wife. My wife is a famous singer here in Vietnam.
Okay,
And so we did a bunch of
congratulations.
these big music videos. Yeah, we got a wild life, man. But we did a bunch of these big music videos. We did one that was flashy, and it was great music video. It was beautiful, right? But the return on that video wasn't as great as one of the little ones that I said, "Hey, let's make this video that just we got good components, it's got great editing, it's
Sure.
really simple shots, and we put together this thing." And man, like, we've done 8 of those videos. I edited 8 of those music videos in the last 2 months, and we put up 8 videos, and combined, they crushed the other music video that was, like, higher, like, budget and stuff. But my point being, like, not that everything has to be cheap. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying don't let something hold you back. You can find a way if this leads me to ask you another question. Like, you work with all types of budgets, which is
Yeah.
really cool. But what are the first 1 or 2 decisions that actually make or break a piece of content, like regardless of how much money someone has?
You know, it's so the intention, right? And I'll expand on that. But I was doing a music video back when George Floyd had been murdered, and
Mm,
there was a band and I'm not gonna say their name, but they were adamant on shooting a music video about white guilt. And
Mm,
I've had the pleasure of, my grandmother was born in 1932 and stuff, and
mm,
she told me when I was very young, like, Harriet Tubman, the Underground Railroad would not have been successful without good white people, right? Emphasizing the importance of humanity beyond the color of our skin. We're human beings at the end of the day, and you have good people and you have bad people, and that is not, skin tone does not reflect a person's character, right? And my grandma made it a point to always instill that in me and my sibling. So I say that to say, to your question, this band was really adamant on making this music video that centered around feeling guilty for being white. And I was trying to explain to them, as a person of color, that like, I appreciate the intention, but that's not, you're trying to monetize
mm,
a tragedy, and you're trying to,
right.
this reverse psychology of, like, we feel really bad, but also the albums on Spotify for 99 cents or iTunes for 125, go download our album. We feel guilty for being white. That's a project that I don't
Oh,
care
man.
what the budget is. I'm not interested in doing it because the intention is in the wrong space. Um, and so when it comes to projects and it comes to people's budgets, I try to encourage clients to just connect with the people. You have people who love
Mm,
Transformers and Michael
right.
Bay and all that, right? And then you have folks who love A24 and, The Witch, or, The Ritual, and, like, these sort of, everything doesn't have to be a shootout downtown. It doesn't have to be Heat or Robert De Niro running through the airport with Al Pacino. It doesn't have to be that. Sometimes people just want to know that there's a project out there that has some humanity that the rest of the world can relate to. And one more thing on that note, Iron Lung is getting a lot of praise, right? And I've been seeing so many different articles on like LinkedIn specifically about how this movie is challenging Hollywood status quo, and it's already made, 7 times its budget, and this is gonna shake Hollywood, blah 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 blah. And I sat there and I said to myself, well, yeah, the budget was 5 million, right? If, and this is no shot to celebrities, but, like, if we don't pay Robert Downey Jr. 30 million to play Iron Man, you know, and Mark Ruffalo another 18 million to play the Hulk, Scarlett Johansson 28 million to be Black Widow, right? Like, just those three actors alone, we're already reaching $100
Right.
million. We still haven't paid for crew or location or equipment, or, like, lower the cost of your film across the board, pay everybody a decent
Mhm.
wage, but just, we could do a lot with $1 million or $500,000 or $250,000. This is more than people make in a year. Make a good movie with a nice amount of change, and you'll always have a positive return. It's, this guy did this project for 5 million. He's made almost 30 million back for his own take home.
Yeah.
And if this was a Marvel film, they would say that he flopped.
Right.
And that blows my mind.
One of the things that I think that people, especially we're talking big industries,
Yeah.
if we're gonna throw a little, like, I wouldn't mind throwing a little shade at
Hey,
at
brother, I'm
Hollywood
open
right now.
book, you know. I watch threat
But one of the
culture
things
for a reason,
yeah, right? One of the challenges I think is that Hollywood is so quick to capitalize on a brand
Mm,
or a theme or a cause that they're like, "Ooh, we can get on that board of that," and, like, be like, "We're part of this."
yeah.
But they abandon storytelling, which is like, I'm gonna pull out a movie that I hope this year wins everything. Sinners, one of the best
Yeah.
movies I've ever seen.
Yeah,
And like,
it was
I
amazing.
love Sinners. I love Sinners because, dude, it was a great, great, great vampire storyline. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you get out of it and Michael B. Jordan playing two characters at the same time, my God, like, I love that. Now, whether you like the movie or not, there was a solid story.
Yeah.
And people liked the story in the movie, right? Now, is that story for everyone? Doesn't have to be. You might like it, I might hate it, or the opposite might be true. But they focused on a story to start the day. Now, you get some big brands now these days, and like sometimes, like, there's been some Avengers and definitely been some Star Wars that they're like, let's just throw a bunch of characters together and let it ride,
Yeah.
Like, and I hated the new Star
I was
Wars
gonna say
trilogy.
they
First of all,
destroyed. Yeah, they need to
the new Star
redo.
Wars trilogy, and oh my goodness, and they love to throw all the fans under the bus, like, oh, you guys are
Yeah.
stupid, But at the same time, it's like, man, Finn should have been a Jedi, like straight up,
Oh my
because it was
gosh.
the story arc.
Yeah.
They were going down, he like picks up the lightsaber,
Yeah.
and they were just like, yeah, we're just gonna drop that story in the third, movie. Like, what? Where did that go,
And
dude?
then
It's
Rey is
like,
a
but
adopted kid. We thought now maybe she's a Skywalker. Well, you're
right,
actually just adopted. It's like
dude,
everybody
yeah,
has the
dude,
Force.
man. Yeah, right. Ah,
Right.
that one makes
All
me
right.
crazy. But why I think it's a relevant side topic is
Sure.
because whether you are making a TikTok reel highlighting your business, whether you are making a short film, whatever you're doing, you gotta have a story. You gotta have
Yeah.
a hook. I had one financial advisor who came to me and he was like, we were talking about something, and I said, well, if I was you and I was making some videos, I'd go to a baseball game. He's like, what do you mean? And I said, I'd roll up to a baseball game and be like, first shot, walk into the baseball game. You know what? One of my favorite movies was Moneyball. And I'm going to tell you why. Next shot, he's sitting there eating some popcorn in his seats. He's like, Moneyball was a story about Billy Beane. Now, Billy Beane didn't have the money that all the big teams had. Next shot, he's out there, like, yeah, cheering for the game. All right, back to his seat. He's like, all right, Billy Beane didn't have a budget, and so he had to figure out ways to get ahead.
Yeah.
And he used his smarts. And he said, the best thing that you can do is get on base. Now, boom, cut to another shot of the game. Someone hits a home run. He's like, yeah. He's like, now, just like that, he didn't hit a home run, but he got on base. Now, I'm telling you that if you want to get ahead financially, all you need to do is get on base. Boom, cut to the next shot. The guy's sitting there. He's like, the game's gone. Now, just like my team, we won, but we didn't win by a bunch of home runs. We won by getting on base. Now, same thing goes for you financially. You can start investing a little bit at a time, but you do that one step at a time. And if you want to get advice on that, you call me. Boom, you have a hit reel that blows everything out of the water versus the one, hi, my name is Tom Johnson, and I'm here to tell you why a 401k is important for your safety.
Right.
Dude, no one gives a crap about that.
No.
No one wants to see that. You have to entertain. You have to be telling people stories.
And people have to know that you're still existing in the real world. We have so much AI. We have so much. And again, like when the COVID thing went down, remote work became such a awesome concept to embrace. But the cost of that was like people don't go outside anymore, man. And like I was born in the 80s, came up in the 90s. Like I was outside. My friends were outside. Everybody was outside.
We were feral, man. I grew up and like my parents turned us loose and they were like, don't die today.
Don't die today.
Come home after.
You couldn't just text your friend to see if they were home. You had to ride your bike, however
You
far
got to
that
roll
was.
up there, man.
If you knock on the door, maybe they're home, maybe they're not. I'll come back, find them at the park.
Yep.
So
I'm
so
with you, man.
this era that we're in right now, especially with the content that's being made and the verticals and all of that, I would say the main thing that's lacking is just humanity. I don't believe the people who are trying to sell me something, whether that be a story or a product. Like, I don't believe that they're actually living it. And your example was phenomenal because, well, okay, we're going to talk about Moneyball, but also I'm here at the game.
Right.
And I'm going to, like, I have these ideas, but also I want to just show everybody that I do exist in the real world.
Right,
I'm not an
and he's
AI
like, "Well,
image.
should I eat the popcorn? Eat the damn
Eat the
popcorn, man, because that's
popcorn.
what you do at the baseball game. Get a hot dog, dude. Do the stuff.
You
Do the
know?
stuff, you know?
Yeah. And I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about why you think I should sign up for this plumbing certification. Show me. Show me.
Right.
Oh, my business
So
increased, 30, 40% since I signed up for this. Yeah, but how does that help me?
you're right.
So, anyways.
For my year-end party, me and my team, we went out to like a little like restaurant slash
Uh-huh.
bar. Everyone was having fun.
Sure.
And I didn't hire any professional photographers or anything. And I just bought 2 rolls of 27 Insta film
Yeah.
cameras. And I tossed them out. I was like, guys, here you go. Toss one this way, toss one that way. I was like, have fun.
Yeah.
Those pictures were horrible, but they were horribly perfect. Nothing was
They
like,
were real.
it was like, they were real.
Yeah.
And like watching my Gen Z employees try to figure out why they couldn't see anything on the back in the display and they didn't know how to roll the damn camera. I was like, give it to me. You got to roll the film.
You gotta
roll
roll
the
the
film. And they're
film.
like, wow. You got to roll the
Also,
film. It was so visceral, but like,
yeah, you don't get to see what the picture looks like. You just take it.
just
Good luck.
take it. Just take it. And see, and that's what the thing, it's one of the things that I tell, we were getting at that earlier on with content. When we make videos, like that music video that I just made, the couple that I made for my wife, I haven't watched them on YouTube yet. And everyone's like, why don't you watch them? I'm moving on. I'm focusing on the next thing. Like, for me, I try not to watch the numbers. I don't watch the metrics. I know everyone's like, see what your numbers are doing. Make sure that I was like, man, if it was a good video, if it impacted people, if we told a story and we connected, move on. Move on to the next one. Like hit record, post, be cool with that and move on.
100%. 100%. Because again, what are we making the stuff for? Is it to stroke our egos and feel better than the next creative because we got more clicks, or is it just to share the art? Now, if something positive comes out of it, that's amazing.
man.
But that shouldn't be the
Right?
driving force for your
100%.
product, man.
Yeah, many creators like overthink things, especially gear,
Yeah.
know? But from your perspective, like when does gear matter and when is it just a distraction from actually making the thing? Because I mean, I'm on the fence. I think get out and make something, but I recently upgraded to a new Sony because for me, I was run and gun and man, that autofocus is so nice on the new Sonys. And like I was using Lumix and I just like, I old school Lumix, it did good for what I'm doing, but like as I was upgrading, I'm normally rented, but I was like, finally, I just was like, I was shooting so much. I was like, man, I need to get myself a new camera.
Yeah.
And
Sometimes
but I want to hear your perspective, man.
So sometimes you have to upgrade your gear. I totally understand that feeling. With regards to people's fear or frustration or overthinking of gear and like when it is or isn't a good time to, I'm probably going to get a little like pushback from this, but the whole reason why I decided to build out the truck the way I did and sort of scale it to the size that I did was because I was working these projects as a key, and I gaff a lot now, but back then I was doing a lot of key ripping, and I don't mean to offend any DPs watching this, but it is so frustrating to be on.
Oh, that's gonna get good right here.
It is so frustrating to be on set with the DP who is more focused on adding something to his or her reel than they are about the project that they're working on. If we're doing a conversation, just you and me at a coffee table, there's no reason that we need the entire G&E team setting up half of the fucking truck of lights. just because you want to do something that looks good for your reel. It could be a conversation about a breakup or heartbreak, or maybe you're about to tell me you're getting married or whatever. Everybody can relate to that moment. Visually, are the characters lit enough that we can understand what's going on? There's no reason why we need to have an hour and a half setup because you want a 20 by over here or another 18 over here, and then you want the 600 doing this and 300s doing this, and you want a Snoop coming up top. You also want a spotlight on the coffee cup, and like, it looks beautiful. I'm not taking away from it being beautiful, but people have signed up for a 12-hour day minimum, and chances are they're probably not getting paid their day rate as they should be getting anyway, just because of the times that we're in right now in the production space. So have a little empathy for the cast and crew. Understand that we're doing 12 hours today. If we're lucky, we'll probably do closer to 13 or 14. Probably going to ask for grace on a lunch. Probably going to give people, you'll promise them an hour, but it'll really be more like 30 to 45. The PAs are getting underpaid, you know. Everyone's not getting their rate for the most part. And that's nobody's fault, but be mindful of that. And so what do we need the shot for? How many pages is this scene? If it's half a page, we're just doing a page and a half, maybe even 2 pages. Let's just light the thing and move on, because we have 180 pages to go. We have 90 pages to go. And this is 30 to 40 seconds, maybe a minute tops of the final product.
Right.
Let's wrap it up. Now you have moments where the gear is like vital to the scene. If it's a major character arc, a main character is dying off, or it's the closure, we're at the climax of the film, or the opener, or the ending. Like, those 3 moments are vital to the film, but the in between is important on the script. It's important in the acting, and the lighting is very important, but it doesn't have to be so stylized that it pulls us out of the moment. And so it's a long-winded answer, but to your question, the gear is there to enhance what's already on the paper. It's there to help bring attention to what the actors are bringing to the set, but it's not there for the DP to balls out, or tits out to just add stuff to their reel. That's not cool. Everyone below the line doesn't get to use your work for their reel. So let's be mindful of that, and let's, utilize the gear as it needs to be. And if you don't know how to do that, at least try your best to surround yourself with teammates who can help maybe tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, bro, this is just, or hey, sis, this is just a quick little page and a half scene. Like, let's make sure we have this lit and ready to go in the next 15, 20 minutes. We don't need to, again, it's not Transformers. We don't need to Michael Bay this out. We're not blowing anything up. Like, let's just get the dialogue off and let's keep the story going. A good story is going to keep people attached regardless.
Yeah. I got to work with this one producer once, and it was one of the best experiences I ever had. It was what do you call it? It was in for a movie here in Vietnam that I was developing with a production house, and I was a new director,
Okay.
and they didn't have faith in me, and understandably, because I hadn't done a bunch of stuff. But as I was developing this project with them, and eventually they didn't run with it, but it wasn't because of the script. The script was great. It was because it wasn't a project that would have sold here, and I appreciate that. Like, it was a drama, and just dramas in Vietnam don't do well. They
Really?
are hit and miss. Oh, yeah, dude, it's comedy here. Comedy is king in Vietnam. Comedy and horror are the 2 go-to things. It's wild like that. Different countries like different things. Europe, and drama is like, those dark dramas
Yeah.
especially are a big thing, but US as well. But I got to work with the top producer from this company for a while.
Mhm.
And what she did is she sat me down and I was like, all right, I've got this scene. I have this mom. She's dying from cancer. Her daughter comes back. Her daughter's been like out of the picture, but the mom's been caring for her granddaughter and she's going to have to get her daughter realigned and re-engaged so that she can hand off, back. And so I was like, I want to shoot in this hospital. I want a hospital scene. And she looked at me. She's like, no, no, you don't want to shoot in a hospital. And I was like, why not? And she's like, "Do you know how hard it is to shoot in a hospital? Do you know how, like, many places that you can make look like a hospital? Do you know all the gear that you're gonna need? Do you need know all of
Mhm.
this that you're gonna need?" And I was just like and she went through every scene in my movie and told me, "All right, this is too expensive. What can we do instead? What can we do
Oh, wow.
instead?" And so I had to start sitting there thinking about it, and she helped me spin the whole movie in a different direction, and I started thinking about that, and now, as I started producing my own projects and being the producer and getting directors in,
Mhm.
I had to also at the same time go, "Oh, wow, hey, that's a nice thing that you wanna do there, but can we do something else?" But,
Yeah.
it's interesting when you're on the other side. But I wanted to ask you this too, because you started up Threat Culture Media to help underground artists get exposure. What does help actually look like in practice when someone is early in their journey? How do you help people?
Oh, man. So interesting story, and I'll try to make it fairly quick, but, uh, I always had friends who were creatives but nobody had any resources, and, when I was really young, my mother was super amazing woman. She bought me a camera, a film camera. Um, it was a Nikon FM10 film camera, and so uh, that enjoyment that I had standing behind this thing and watching people open up to me, and feel safe to open up to me as long as they couldn't, make eye contact or like see my face. It really like piqued the curiosity. And so being around a lot of friends who did music, and were like my friend Sal Blanco did this piece behind me. Painters and people who recorded music, uh, I had a camera. And so the help that I could bring to them is well, it depends on your perspective, right? You have this platform and you're interviewing individuals to hear their story. And in exchange
Yeah,
for that, we get to share our stories and we get to have this connection with you and interact with you. And there's a fulfillment in that, but it also helps build your brand and company. And
yeah,
and so it's like a give and take, and it's a beautiful give and
yeah,
take. And so for me, I was very interested in learning about people and learning about their stories. And in exchange for that, people were willing to open up to me and share their work with me. So full circle
yeah,
moment, I'm like, I know how to build websites. I know how to shoot. I know how to edit. Give me the pleasure of doing these things for you in exchange for you not giving up on your dream. And what ended up happening was that my peers were no longer worried about how am I going to make my dream come true, because the stress of how am I going to shoot a video? How am I need a photo for my album cover. I need an editor for this. Like that was now removed from their thought. And now the question just became, did I record enough music this month? Or did I paint enough work this month? And, is Chad available to meet up so that we can document this? And it was a give and take. But you have to be someone who enjoys connecting with people. If you didn't enjoy learning about people, connecting with people, you probably wouldn't even be in Vietnam right now. You would have never met your
yeah.
wife. You would have you would have just stayed at home and I don't know, just like worked at a cubicle for the rest of your life and just worried about the money.
Right,
And
right.
it's a sad life. So yeah, again, just to answer that question, like I think if you can respect and honor someone's individual journey and make it a point to acknowledge their goals while also staying true to yours, I think that creates a beautiful environment for things to thrive and blossom into unexpected achievements. But it has to be mutual. If you're just worried about money, or if I just want to know like how many views is this video going to get, or you're just worried about, I only want to interview people who have 100,000 connections or more on LinkedIn or something, it's going to be a very like awkward wash and dry kind of interview, and your product is going to look shitty, and I'm going to come off as a leech or an opportunist, and people can see that.
Right.
People see that.
I think that one of the dude.
I was almost worried
when
about doing your interview, man. Like, I'm not.
No.
Honestly,
No,
like, and it wasn't you, but it was like the man. You reached out to me, and I was like, "There's no way." Like, I mean, like the number of people on this planet who are just like good-hearted people is like fair to none. I believe there's more love in the world than hate, but people who have like pure intention, it's like bar to none. So when you reached out to me, I was like, "This guy wants to interview me, like for what?" But then I told you these last few weeks to just like look at what you've done and what you do. And I'm like, this guy is genuinely interested. I mean, of course you want to build your platform, but like you have real conversations. And
I give a shit, man.
that
I
shit
think
is
that all these people, I
mm,
think people got cool things to say. And I've taken this stance, a heavy stance in my own life against certain types of people, these
yeah,
transactional types. Like
yeah.
on this podcast, if you respond back to me, and I bless your heart, love you to pieces, but if you respond back to me immediately, like, and yeah, I'm going to do the same thing when my numbers are huge. But if you come back and be like, where's your show streamed and what are your numbers? If anyone who ever says that to me, because some of my podcasts do really well, this one is new. But if
Yeah.
anyone ever says that to me, I'm like, dude, we're not a fit. We're not a fit because
man.
you're looking at this purely from a transactional point of view. And I'm looking at this as, can we get together and for a moment in time have a conversation that creates fucking magic? And that magic might be able to, maybe one of your friends or one of my friends listens to this and someone's like, God damn, that's right, man. I can do that shit too.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Dude,
Because
it could be as simple as like, I want to go to Vietnam. I didn't know they even had I didn't know
Right.
they had a film space out there. And Sean looks like
Yep.
he's living the best life he can. He's got guitars and art, and he's got a wife, and I'm just used to old pictures from Vietnam War. I didn't know that there was like life happening. That like people are still thinking that. So yeah,
100%.
there's
You
just the
never
human.
know, man.
You never know, man. And like the life experience is so much more important than whatever. Like, dude, again, the iron lung
And
situation is doing amazing. Next month, no one's gonna give a fuck, dude. I mean, they're gonna care,
right.
but like that's you know, I'm watching these people fucking political on the socials, and I'm just like, guys, you're losing track of like the humanity of it. We're like,
100%.
fuck this guy.
Hun-
Don't worry about what he's talking about. Check in on your friends and your family and make sure everybody's like good. Yeah, it's
We are, I think that our job, I love going to Reddit and Instagram comments because
yeah.
after all of the BS out there, I go to
Mhm.
those platforms and I'm like, all right, most of the people out there are just like me. Like, we
Yeah,
all want to laugh. We all like call
yeah.
people on their BS, man. And
Yeah,
like at the end of the day, the majority of the people out there just are like, whatever, man.
yeah,
Calm the
man.
hell down.
Yeah,
Get
man.
off your whatever, and just be real because like, and I think this is something that people are not getting right now. And like
Nah,
anyone who's like, I'm gonna sell an AI avatar and have this, man, get over it, dude.
get
Like,
over it. It's
you know,
not gonna
I
happen.
don't want, I don't want to see that. I want to see like this is something when I work with customers and they come to me and they're like, I want this polished thing. I'm like, I can clean you up, but honestly, I honestly I want someone who looks a little dirty. I
Yeah,
want someone who looks like a little
yeah.
bit beat up. Like someone, I had a client request the other day. They're like, "Can you remove the hair from my collar?" I'm like, "We can't do that.
Can't
Like,
do
I
that.
can't do that. Like, I can't remove a hair from your collar. Like, and even if you wanted to, why? There's
Why?
no point in that.
Why?
There's
I
no
want to know
point."
you're human. I like the airbrushing and all. Like it's like I want to know you're human. It's okay. okay. I
Yeah.
traveled to Belgium and I went to Germany and I came back and it's not to harp on the politics too much, but like my mother's stuck on TV. Like she's just like,
Yeah.
and I keep telling her like, turn that shit off, please. Like talk to people on like there's real human beings out there. Go travel, do what you got to do, but like go to the source. But anyways, I traveled, I had a great time. I come back and her big thing was like, you didn't have any issues with customs. And I said, there's too much money in rotation on a daily basis for the world to stop existing, whether that be with tourism, whether that be with production, creative writing, news, whatever. Like people are gonna wake up, they're gonna have their coffee or their tea, they're gonna check in on their friends and family, and they're gonna get through their day. 24 hours is gonna pass, whether you're in a good mood or whether I'm in a bad mood. It like the on a universal scale, it doesn't fucking matter. So just look out for your people, man, and do the best you can to get through life.
There was I was a philosophy major, a history
Oh,
slash
hell yeah.
philosophy.
Hell yeah.
And so I was big into like this is maybe why you see who I am and what I am all about because
Yeah.
I studied Buddhism and Taoism and Eastern philosophy.
Mm.
And there was a powerful like one of the sutras, I believe it's the Diamond Sutra, and
Mm.
it says gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhisoha. Now,
Mm.
what does it mean? Gone, gone, further gone, forever gone, enlightenment come. Now, we can't get back the past. Think about like Singing in the Rain. Now
Yeah.
that movie was that movie was powerful. Those
Powerful.
people at that time, we watch it now, we're like, wow, what a beautiful classic. And no
Yeah.
one knows who these people were. But at their time, that was the Dwayne Johnson. That was
Yes.
the,
Yes.
the Henry
Yes.
Cavill of the time. And like everyone knew it. And it was like a culturally significant thing. I talked to my employees, like they're all Gen Z, about a movie that's a little bit old. I'm like, old for them. Like I talk like, let's talk about. None of them even watched the Harry Potter movies. They haven't watched the Iron Man 1. They're like, that's so old. And I was like, something like, what was it, Forrest Gump? And they're like, Forrest Gump. They're like, oh, my grandpa watched that. It's like, Jesus,
Jeez, man.
but my point being, like, everything is a snippet in time.
Mhm.
And one of the beautiful things that I think we can do is one of my guests came on recently and she said that social media is the exact same thing as cave painting thousands of years ago. It's
Wow.
simply people trying to, for a moment, capture their hand. Think about that. Some of those earliest cave paintings, someone put a hand on the wall and
Mhm.
spit the paint onto
Yeah.
that hand. And all it was like, I was here. I was here. I was here. I lived. Someday, I started all of my podcasts because I know I got really sick in the past.
Okay.
And I know that life is finite. And
Mm.
I know that someday I won't be around.
Yeah.
And I pray that my daughter can watch this content and say one thing. That's my dad. He made a fucking difference.
Yeah.
And if that's all that we can say. And so if you're making content to just be famous, to just make content to do something in this
Do
world.
something, man.
Make content to make to bridge that humanity gap, to
Yes.
bridge those barriers that people try to tear us down. Because right now they are trying to tear us down. And you want to talk politics? Like, remember before all this stuff went off a couple years ago, that 99% movement where Black people, white people, Latino people, everyone was out in the streets together.
Yeah.
We were all standing arm in arm saying we need to make change.
Yeah.
And then they started trying to separate us again and bring back those lines, man. People want to come together.
Yeah.
People want to stand side by side. And all of the other stuff is just noise.
It's just noise.
So get out there and tell people stories that bring us together, that show humanity at its best.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can do that and not be dismissive about the negatives because it's all balance, right? But
It's
that doesn't
there.
have to be your it doesn't have to be your like this might be too deep into the thought bubble, but like I'm really upset that they're pushing like Avengers Doomsday. I think this is a terrible time to be like pushing Doomsday. It's like not MF Doom, that's one of my favorite artists, but Doom in general in the comics, very intelligent man, very intelligent man and very insightful individual. And yeah, I could spiral into a whole different thought process, but I just feel that if people had a better understanding of villains in comic books even, they would understand that like unity and like power to the people is even the intention of a lot of villains.
Yeah.
It all comes back to like people being mistreated and how they chose
Yep.
to react to being mistreated.
That's what I loved about the original Black Panther movie.
Mm,
Like, Michael B. Jordan's character had the right intention.
yeah,
Like, it
yeah,
it was just how he went about it.
yeah,
But I think one of the things too, I wanna ask you this.
yeah.
So for someone watching tonight that wants
Mhm,
to use content to get out there and make a difference,
sure.
what do you think? Where should they start?
Uh, I don't think that your first. I don't think that your first bit of content should be AI generated. I don't think you should even be using an AI prompt. People can tell the difference. There's a tone, there's a sort of rhythm when you're speaking from the heart, and when these new creators are not doing that, and uh, you know, unintentionally or not, they're trying to sell you something, whether that be their dream or their product. Um, it's obvious, and I think, I mean, again, you're dealing with parents, you're dealing with kids who are still trying to figure themselves out, teenagers who are like lost in the sauce, elderly who are just being exposed to how big the world is through modern technologies, right? Like everyone is going through their own transformations and their own individual journeys. So the last thing you want to do is give them some robotic prompt with the, make sure, click on the like and subscribe. So it's like, hey, hold on, dude, you were in the middle of telling me about the time you were adopted or the time that you got your first heartbreak. Let's stick to that and talk to me as a human about that. And then at the end of your video, if you want to like and subscribe, like that's cool. But don't throw an ad. What is our oh, I'm forgetting brother's name. He's our top sniper. He's retired now. Not the American sniper, not Kyle. He's a black gentleman. I'm forgetting his name, but he has locks now. But long story short, he did this beautiful interview about one of the most traumatic shootouts he had uh in Iraq. And in the middle of this guy talking about how he was pinned down and he was able to get out of that jam because one of his teammates, a guy who didn't even know him, turned around and started like shooting at the enemy or whatever. Like this guy ends up getting shot twice in the leg and he bleeds out. And he was telling this story about how he only survived that fight because this stranger risked his life for him. The interviewer cuts the interview and they a Blue Chew ad starts playing. Like content creators now, they see the streamers, they see the folks on TikTok, they see a lot of what's going on with the Instagram partnership program and all of the endorsements, and they think that if I can just get that first, then my brand or my company will be successful. But what they don't understand is if you come out the gate telling the world that you're you there's a price tag on your integrity, that's going to be your
Mhm.
brand out,
Yeah.
out the gate. So to content creators out there, to creators who are just getting their foot on the ground, please like bear your heart first. The success will come, but you have to be consistent. You have to know, don't have to know everything, but you have to at least know where you want to end up and just stick to that program. And the endorsements will come, the fans will come, the work will come. As long as you stay true to yourself and your vision, I promise you, you're not, the views don't matter. How many subscribers you have, how many followers you have. You're old enough, I'm old enough. We remembered when MySpace first came. Well, first we had like the AOL and all that stuff, right? But the
Right.
social element wasn't really connected to that. But to these kids, when MySpace came out, it was all about who was in like your top 8 and who had the most friends. And then Tom sold it. And then Facebook came and it became friends. And then Facebook did Facebook pages. And then that was important. How many likes do I have on my page? And then that got sold off to an extent. It went public and Instagram became a thing. And then that was like, how many followers do I have? I'm the best photographer. We had Vine, we had Snapchat, we had Behance, all of these social platforms where people thought, as long as I'm popular on these platforms, I'll be important. And then at some point, the company sold, or your account got deleted, or you said something that was, controversial or didn't really fit the guidelines, just bullshitting with your friends, and you're, 3,000 or 30,000 or 60,000 or 102, 2 million followers are just gone. And overnight, you don't fucking matter because the people who are following you didn't even care about you. You were just entertainment for their day. The only way to circumvent that is to be human and to remind people that you're a real person. Because when people are connected with you on that level, it doesn't matter what platform you exist on. They're going to follow you, and they're going to be a part of whatever it is you're trying to do. People talk John Lennon all the time, more than they do the Beatles, but at some point, John Lennon was like, hey guys, beyond the music here, there's some shit going on that I need to just express myself about. Or they didn't like his wife. And Yoko Ono was, fucking up the band. He's like, yeah, but I love her. I understand you guys don't understand why I'm bringing her to these events or why I'm, but at the end of the day, like, I love her. And when my life is over, I want to have beautiful memories with this person that I love more than the platinum records on my wall. And to this day, that is why people like him are celebrated. The Muhammad Ali's because they were like, I'm human. Yeah, I'm Cassius Clay, this amazing fighter. Yeah, I'm Muhammad Ali, this amazing fighter. But I'm not going to Vietnam to fight somebody we're going to put you in jail. It's like, yeah, hey, take the belts, take my title. I don't care. I'm not doing it. That is how legacy is established, whether that be individually or with a brand. You got to have some kind of integrity, and you got to remind people that you're human. All that other shit is temporary. That's what I got to say to the kids getting started,